Hey, it's Watsky, and you are watching The Unexpected Fellowship.
Hey everyone, so I met George Watsky last Wednesday and I got him to film that little clip for us. This week on The Unexpected Fellowship we have a free week, which means we get to talk about anything that we want to talk about. So I thought it's the perfect time to talk to you guys about my mobile childhood. Basically, since I've been born, I haven't lived in the same city for longer than 5 years, and none of my moves have been small moves within the country. I've always moved around a lot. It started when I was born in Austria, and after 2 years I moved to Turkey. After 2 years I moved to New York City. After 4 years I moved back to Turkey. After 2 years I moved to Belgium. After 5 years I moved to New York City. After about 8 or 9 months I moved back to Turkey. And after 3.5 years I moved here to Montreal. Now, I have a lot of opinions on having a really mobile childhood. The reason for me moving around a lot was that my dad was a diplomat, and I met a lot of other diplomat kids, if they were Turkish diplomats or any other diplomats, and most of us had the same conclusion. At around when you're in middle school, you really hate it. You hate your parents for making you move. At least I did. I would always blame my parents for tearing me away from my friends, making me really upset, ruining my life. There's a lot of pros and cons for having a mobile childhood. Some of the pros being the whole experience of it. I mean, it's a completely different lifestyle to be moving around so often. Another pro is culture. You get to experience a lot of different new cultures, and it's not just the country that you live in. For example, when I lived in Belgium, I learned about a lot of different cultures because I went to an international school where there wasn't really a majority nationality at the school I went to. It was really, really mixed. Another pro is you make a lot of different friends. If you stay in one school, one high school for 4 years, you pretty much have the same friend group. But I went to 3 different high schools throughout my high school experience, and I had different friend groups at every single high school, so you get to meet lots of new people and make a lot of new friends. I don't really keep in touch with a lot of them. Another pro is you get to learn new languages more easily. For example, a lot of people don't believe me when I tell them I'm Turkish, especially when I'm in Turkey and I talk to tourists. None of them believe me because of my American accent. Another pro is traveling. Well, this also depends on where you move to. When I lived in New York City, I didn't do any traveling outside of the country, but I went to a bunch of different states. But when I lived in Belgium, that's when I did my most traveling because it's Europe, so everything is just a couple hour driving distance. And now the cons. The cons of having a mobile childhood, the biggest one I can think of is not having a stable home. I've actually to this day never had a home. I've never had one apartment or one house that's my family's, that's my home. Another con is the obvious moving away from friends. Especially at a young age, this is really bad. I've had a lot of fights with my parents when I had to move, but in all honesty, you kind of forget, you get over it. After a couple months you make new friends, and you don't really forget your old ones, but you don't miss them as much. Another con is not being able to continue certain things. I used to be really into ice skating when I was in 4th grade when I lived in Turkey, but when I moved to Belgium when I was in 5th grade, I wasn't able to continue ice skating. Another con is different educational curriculums. I actually had a really bad experience with this. I've never taken a chemistry class. Yep. Never. I've never had one lesson on chemistry, and that's because I went to 3 different high schools, and one of them had a completely European curriculum, the other one was in the United States, so it had an American curriculum, and then I moved to Turkey, where it was first the Turkish curriculum and then the IB program. So I missed out on chemistry, which I'm kind of sad about because I think I would have liked it. So overall, I'd have to say I loved my experience of having a mobile childhood. I wouldn't change it for any sort of stability in my life. I like this. I'm okay with not really having a home ever, and I hope that I get to continue moving around once every 4 years until a very, very long time. Tell me down in the comments if any of you guys have similar experiences with moving around a lot as a child, or maybe you move around a lot now, or maybe you've just lived in the same city your whole life. I'd really like to know. See you guys next week.